Hello guys, you are once more welcome to this training. I am Nebuta Ismail and I still continue on taking you through the course. There is there has been a little bit of a shift of the agenda because actually the video we are about seeing now actually comes first before what you had for the last class. So perhaps today we are going to be looking into that, let's say some practical coding, let's say just basic, and also installation of Flutter and some things to know about Flutter, Android Studio, and perhaps if we have time we'll look at some other concepts perhaps which we missed. Now we have seen application development with Flutter. Well, as we have been seeing throughout the past times, Flutter is Google's mobile SDK. So what that means is it's a software development kit. So also you need to be aware that it's a UI framework specifically where widget-based architecture powers its everyday usage. Yes, so it actually one power behind Flutter is its ability to provide you with very powerful UI features. So you get applications running seamlessly because of a very powerful user navigation interface. Also, okay, you see high productivity. Flutter was written for high productivity to get apps fast, high quality, high performance. Also, Flutter utilizes the Dart programming language. Yes, so we saw about it being an interpreted language, it being a compiled language. I think by now you should be aware of that. Now we are going to look at the installation of Flutter. The first thing that you would want to do as a Flutter developer is to know how to actually install it. Since this is a Windows computer, so I'm going to be folding up the display on Windows. So I think for those of you who are doing Mac or Linux, you should basically follow the steps that's on the documentation or as to what you see on the screen. Now, first of all, in order to start up with Flutter, you need to first of all go up to the Flutter's official website, which is Flutter Dev, right? Yes, Flutter.dev. So going up to Flutter.dev. Okay, I think I'm not connected. Okay, so going up to Flutter.dev, this is Flutter's official website. Now Flutter is an SDK, so what we want to do is to download the SDK, the software development kit, right, so that you can be able to use it. Oh wow, these are very powerful UI features, you see. So developing with Flutter is actually amazing. Yes, so looking at Flutter, the dev get started. Our aim is to install Flutter on our devices, so we need to download the package, install it on our devices so that we can be able to use it for application development. So choose your deployment platform to get started. We are working on Windows. You can always select your own. Now your choice informs which parts of Flutter tooling you can configure to run your first mobile app here. So do you want for mobile devices, do you want for web? Remember, Flutter is cross-platform, so what that means is you can use it to develop desktop applications, mobile applications, and also web applications. Web applications are like websites, so this is a very powerful feature of it. So mobile application is actually our basic focus. I think for those of you who can message so that you can learn how to work on the web and desktop. Okay, so we are going to go on with mobile. So immediately you go on with mobile, they are going to provide you with some stuffs, information to follow, hardware required. So you need these specifications for hardware. I'm not really hardware person, but yeah, in case you want to follow. So if you are on VS Code, you can install Flutter using these commands. Flutter using these commands, and everything is going to work fine. Launch VS Code, press Ctrl Shift P. Whatever you do, you can download and install Flutter here, but the process is actually complicated. Yes, so all of these stuffs, it's actually somehow complicated, but it's actually very good. Yes, it's actually very good. So let's say, for example, you want to install Flutter. When you select a folder, for example, following up with what is set here, first of all, launch launch VS Code. Let's see what is set. Launch VS Code, you press Ctrl Shift P. You are going to see this. You can select Flutter. So from here they are going to tell you about installing Flutter, but we are not really going to do this. We are not going to do this. So what we are going to do directly is download the SDK. So for example, you just use download and install. You just get this. You just need to download this. So immediately you click on download, you are going to be able to download it on your devices. Yes, so I would see you when you have downloaded this. I'll just continue because I already have it downloaded. So you just need to download this. Now when it comes to this one, as you said, you can always follow the on-screen instructions. It says when you press Ctrl Shift P, you type Flutter, you are going to see Flutter new project. VS Code prompts you to locate the Flutter SDK on your computer. So if you do not have, you just simply say download SDK. It's going to download the entire SDK for you. This is working with the terminal. Actually, the terminal is fast. Yes, it's fast, and it's going to save a lot of time. Now when select folder for Flutter dialog displays, choose where you want to install Flutter, and also click clone Flutter. Yes, so it's going to download the Flutter. Once it finishes downloading, the auto panel with this. Okay. So what happens is it's automatically going to do some installations for you. And also at the end of the day, click add SDK to path when successful. Okay. So that'll be it. But now the problem is Android Studio. Yes, so you need Android Studio. That's why I never wanted to follow this path, but you can always follow it. Now immediately you download Flutter, you are going to get Flutter's package. I think you are going to have it installed on your downloads folder. So what I'm simply going to do is I'm just going to locate where my Flutter is on my device. So when you have Flutter installed, the first thing that you need to do is you extract your package, right? So you extract your package. Where's Flutter? It's been a little bit long. I installed it, so I'll just show you where I have it. So I'll check it on my path. Okay, I've seen here SDK. Okay, no, that's not Flutter. Okay, so this is my path, so I can see where's Flutter. Okay, Flutter is on C dependencies and Flutter bin. Okay, so I go on to C, I look for dependencies, and you are going to see Flutter. Okay, this is good. So this is the Flutter's package. Immediately you download that zip file. What you need to do is you need to extract the zip file. It's going to produce you this Flutter folder. Copy the Flutter folder to anywhere convenient on your device, right? So this is an SDK. So as it is in this form, it actually carries all the details, packages and everything, but you cannot use it in this format. So what you need to do is you are going to need to actually tell your machine, your device, that okay, this is Flutter, use it for specific commands related to it. Let's see something. If you want to do that, you need to do what we call adding it to your path. So your path means your system is going to recognize commands which are Flutter powered. How do you do that? When you open up this bin folder, you are going to see flutter.bat, dat.bat, and everything. So basically these are the components which help you execute Flutter code. So inside of here, you are going to, wherever it is installed, so immediately you just locate Flutter. After you have extracted, please extract. After you have extracted, when you click on this top sector, you are going to be highlighted in this form. I'll use Ctrl C, or you can as well copy this path to your bin folder. Now you go and search env. These are your environment variables. So this is when actually you get to configure your path. So you click on this path, you click on edit, right? So now you need to edit now whatever you need to actually edit the path. So me already have Flutter installed, that's why you see it like this, but you will not have it. Yes, so how do you get it? You click on new and you simply paste the path. So this is how this is what I'm talking about. I click on new and I paste the path. So that's it. So that's actually how it works. So I'll cancel that. Now immediately you have that, you press OK, you accept. Now if you come now to your device, let me see, you go on to a command line. I'll type Flutter -- version. So this is to know what version of Flutter I'm currently using. So provided your Flutter installation is wrong, it's not going to tell you this. So provided you have not installed Flutter, it's not going to go through this. So this is to test. So it actually says I'm on a stable version and everything, means my system now recognizes Flutter. So Flutter Doctor, always type this. Flutter Doctor is a command that helps you to analyze your environment for Flutter, let's say application development as a whole. So it's going to actually tell you the state of, let's say, your device as a whole related to your development process. Remember, the purpose of Flutter is basically for application development. So it's going to analyze and it's going to tell you if you have problems. So most of the time when you run this for your first time, you are going to get complaints. Yes, sometimes they are going to tell you about so okay, you can see they are going to tell you about Android Studio not found, VS Code, Android toolchain, but we are going to see how to work with all of this. It's not a problem. So right now they say Visual Studio. Visual Studio is used if you are doing desktop development, so we are not doing that, so it's not a problem now. So you are going to have issues here, but I'll just show you throughout the steps in order to get all of this right. So you go on now, you need to install Android Studio. So I'll go here and okay, let me see if the documentation has a pattern. Now verify the installation using the command Flutter Doctor. It will check for missing dependencies and provide guidance on how to install them. Okay, as I said, now you need a development environment which we call an IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So Flutter can be developed using various IDEs, like we have Visual Studio Code, we have Android Studio, but Visual Studio Code was not primarily built for Android development because it is multi-purpose, right? You need extensions and all of that, but Android Studio specifically was built for the Android development. So Android Studio is what's going to give you enough power to configure Flutter or your device for application development correctly. So you need Android Studio. Why? Because most features when it comes to installation are pre-installed in it, but immediately we are done with our installation, we are going to migrate onto Visual Studio. But as of now, we are going to use Android Studio to configure Flutter. So how do you work with this? How do you work with this? Okay, you go on, I'll search for Android Studio, download Android Studio, download. So you are going to see something, you are going to see anyone that says download Android Studio, just look for it. Developer.android.com, that's the website. So just look for where you can download it. So download Android Studio Hedgehog. This is the latest version. So if you just click on download, it's going to download it on your device for you. Okay, let me see. Google the Quatrix from now. So let's just see. Okay, they're going to tell you about their conditions, accept their licenses. You can go ahead and read that. I think I've read that already. So you just click and download. Anyway, so what this is going to do is it's going to give you the Android Studios package. So you download that. Now after you've downloaded Android Studio, you need to go ahead and install it. So Android Studio is just going to come like a normal program, right? So you are going to see the setup. After you've downloaded it, it's going to come like a normal program. You are going to see the setup. You just need to go there and install it. So immediately you install it, you just need to follow the on-screen instructions. There are no prior stuff to do. So after that, you just launch Android Studio. After that, you launch Android Studio. So Android Studio, remember, is what is going to help us to in order to configure Flutter as a whole. Yes, so it's actually very important. But as I earlier said on, you can always use VS Code directly, but it's going to be complicated for setup. Yes, so use Android Studio. So I'm pretty much running on an older version. I think I'm still on Giraffe, while the latest version is Hedgehog, but it's no problem. Okay, while we are waiting for its setup. Okay, so this is Android Studio. I'll go ahead, since I've already been into the system. This is not the way you are going to see it. I've already been on the system, so I'll need to exit my view in order to have the same thing you see. So one of the reasons why Android Studio is not really the best when it comes to development is because it's resource exhaustive. So what that means is you need to have a very powerful laptop in order to code efficiently with Android Studio. Yes, so most of the times we just need to use it for our setup. As you can see now, my device is actually some way consumed, so you need to do a lot of setup. So you just need to give it a little bit of time. Okay, so I'll just close project. That's what I want to do. Okay. Okay, so this is the basic architecture. This is, in fact, this is, let me not say basic architecture. Whenever you install Android Studio, when you want to use it, this is what you see. So you is working, this is what you're supposed to see on your screen. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to install Flutter. Flutter comes as a plugin. So plugins add extra functionality. So what that means is Android Studio primarily has its own development environment, which is Java and Kotlin. So I'll not go into explaining that too detailedly, but Java and Kotlin are actually the frameworks, or let's say the power behind Android Studio's development. So Flutter is actually something new, but it's integratable. So we just go on with Flutter. So what we need to do is you need to come to marketplace on plugins. So what this is going to do is going to install to you Android or Flutter for your Android studio so that you can use it. Now you need to come up to the marketplace. You need to search here for Flutter. So as you have seen, so you type on Flutter, you are going to see this install button. You are going to click on install. So immediately you do that, Flutter is going to be installed on your device. Now after you do that, okay, you can see automatically Flutter is going to install that. Automatically Flutter is going to install that, so that should not be a concern. So if in case it does not, then you just try to check. So after you've done that, I already have it installed. After you've done that, you go on to customize. I'll go to all settings. You need to do a little bit of configuration. Yes, you need to do a little bit of configuration. So you go to customize, you go look for language and frameworks. You are going to see Android SDK. Android SDK, it means the Android software development kit, right? So you need to locate the Android SDK. So Android SDK now is going to actually be now let's see, provide you now with all of the resources that you need in order to work with your Android development. So the first thing I need to do is on these SDK platforms, so you need to select an SDK platform to use. We have Android 13 okay, Tiramisu is operating on an API level of 33. So these API levels play an important role because, for example, each of your devices, your Android phones and everything, they have their own API levels. So you can go ahead and do extensive studies on that. But the latest version always has an API 34, but I actually had 13 because mine was actually prior. So I think your own, you should be seeing API 34. So immediately you select on that, make sure you select on one of them. So you select on the API 34, which comes by default most of the time. That will be the first one, or let's say the one you see with 34. Or if you do not see that one, you should choose this Tiramisu, this API 33 as you see. Now after you've done that, go on to SDK platforms. Now select this Android SDK command line tool. Very important. If you don't select it, you cannot go forward. Also select this Android SDK platforms. Make sure you select it. Yes, so those two, select this Android SDK command line tools, select this Android SDK platform. This one will come installed immediately. So after you've done that, you just need to click on apply. So immediately you click on apply, what is going to happen is it's going to take you towards the installation. You are going to install all of what is required. You are going to install all what is required. So immediately you perform that installation, it's going to take you about 8 GB or to something like that. Or let me say, if I just want to see, I'll just click on this. You see apply, you see it tell you about this. You can go now ahead and you see the way it installs, right? There's the same thing. Yes, you just need to wait for it. So make sure you have selected everything. Now after you have done that, after you have done all of your installation process, that is all. You now need to go to your now need to go to command line again, CMD. You type again Flutter Doctor. You see the result of your terminal. If everything is fine, they are going to tell you, but most often they are going to tell you about an Android license. Yes, they are going to tell you about licensing. So you must install your licenses. They are going to give you a command. Your Flutter Doctor is going to give you the command there. So what you are doing is you're authorizing, or let's say you are licensing your device, your computer as a whole, such that it is identifiable. Yes, so you need to accept some agreements, stuff like that, so that maybe you do not use it to publish malicious applications. And even while you are going on the long run, applications released from your device are authenticated. So that's how relevant it is. So immediately you do that, you are good for development. You now come up to Visual Studio, right? On Visual Studio, you need to install it. Maybe, I'm sure by now you should be using Visual Studio Code. You should go on to Visual Studio. You go to Marketplace extensions. So on extensions, you search also for Flutter. On extensions, you search for Flutter. After, when you see Flutter, you install it. You see Flutter, you install it. Automatically it's going to install that, and Flutter is ready to run on your machine. Now, as I said, we are going to be continuing every other thing from Flutter, but make sure before you proceed, make sure that you have everything good with your Flutter doctor, in case you have other complications. If you have things that are actually pressing on, feel free to leave a comment, or perhaps you can as well contact me directly. Now, okay, if in case you already have this already running, that should be running. The first time I told you we could not use that, the reason was because that comes with the Android SDK. So immediately you install Flutter is going to install Android SDK, and it should be working. So you can now run that code. This is an example of a that code, which is actually here. This is a function to multiply two numbers. Int multiply numbers, int num1, int num2, int c is equals to num1 times num2, return c. This is a function, this actually this is a function to, this is a function that actually returns the power, and this, so you can use this. So these are just example functions. I think we have seen a little bit on that programming. So we have seen all of this. So I think you should be able to work now with Flutter very well. So you just go through the documentation, and perhaps if you have some complaints, we'll do our best to actually attend to your complaints. Now, with the previous video, actually we did not get to explain the purpose of some aspects when it comes to development, like version control systems. So we started off with this. We have